Hey guys, this is Divine Khaleesi. Welcome to my channel for spirituality, recovery talk, and guided messages. I'm here with Kerizzmah. I'm really excited. She's one of my friends in recovery, and today we're touching on PTSD. So PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder. If you don't know what it is, look it up and do your research. I'm really not the one to educate you on that, but I have been diagnosed with mild PTSD. And for me, it has manifested in a couple different ways. I've had post-traumatic stress disorder from memories of abuse when I was little. And I didn't remember it for a really long time until I was like 18 and I told somebody what happened, and then it started manifesting in a way it was a sexual abuse encounter when I was little, and it started kind of rearing its ugly head in how I had relationships with men. So then there was the most recent one, which has been the most terrible one to deal with, and it's still even hard to talk about today. But when I lost my kids in December last year, when ChildNet took my kids, I just fell down the deepest, darkest black hole of depression and stress. And for me, it was like nightmares, really bad nightmares. But in addiction, it's hard to talk about, honestly, but I really, I suffered because I was so heartbroken. I didn't have any coping skills at all. I literally I could not be sober. I would wake up in the morning and just collapse on the floor because my kids were gone. So I would just drink, I would get high. I did drugs and tried to, numb that heartbreak because I had no other way of dealing with it at the time. I knew because I had gotten clean before what to do, but I was inconsolable, basically. So then it started being nightmares. I would just wake up screaming, and sometimes I didn't even know. Like my little cousin, told my cousin's son heard me wake up from a dream screaming, and he was scared, and he called her because I was babysitting him, and it was bad. And so today, now that I'm, not on drugs, I still suffer with some of the symptoms of the post-traumatic stress. And so I do a lot of journaling. I try to work out. My connection with my higher power is really the biggest thing. Spirituality is huge. I had to really dive deep and let go of some of that guilt and shame, and stop focusing so much on the memories of what happened and focus on what I'm doing today to make it better. Right. Because sometimes post-traumatic stress disorder can really attach itself to a bunch of different things, right? Sometimes it's things that happen to you that you have no control over, like when I was a kid. And then some things you bring on yourself through addiction, and you have to suffer the consequences. So today, Kerizzmah is going to share a little bit about her experience with it. And I'm really excited to hear from her. She has a super inspiring story, and I'm going to let her talk and just share where she's at, how she got to this point, and where she's at today.
All right, so I think it's pretty common that a lot of little girls in America get sexually assaulted or molested by someone they are close to. Sometimes it's a family member or a family friend. In my case, it was a foster child when I was 4 to about 6. So that definitely, as you stated, created problems within my adulthood. My sexual relationships, it was not where they needed to be. It was all over the place, sporadic. I was a little bit promiscuous because I didn't know how to form a true attachment to somebody.
A healthy attachment.
Yeah, it wasn't healthy. Yeah. So I was just doing me,
And we don't realize that's what it's attached to.
Really did not, until I realized, I want to say when I was 22, and he reached back out to me, and it created this huge ball of fire.
Yeah.
And I realized this is my confliction. This is the problem that I'm having. And this is why I'm not able to go as far as I would like to with sexual relations, because of this blockage that I have from you.
Yeah.
So that he never apologized. He actually put it on me and said that it was my fault. So,
and you know it's not.
I know it's not
your fault.
Yeah. But I've gone through that by going to a lot of therapy, journaling. My higher power, spirituality definitely played a huge part in me getting better from that. But the problem that I'm struggling with now with this new PTSD is the PTSD from Iraq.
Yeah.
So I'm also in the military. I'm not sure if you guys can tell, probably not because of my red hair and my nose ring. But I'm in the military, and I went to Iraq in 2019 to 2020, and it was rough out there.
Yeah. I can't even imagine.
It was like a fucking action-packed movie that was real.
Yeah.
And from that, I definitely had PTSD, but I did not know it was PTSD, because when you're in that situation, you're like, oh, we got this, we're good, taking care of your soldiers, making sure that everything's okay, doing your job, because it's life or death out there. Like, you can't slack, you have to get your shit done.
Right.
So, I picked up my game, but when I came home, that was a different story. Yeah. I had time to relax. I had time to let my mind slow down, and that's where the PTSD started kicking in. And I thought that it was just depression.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I know what depression feels like. I know, I'm going to be low for a little bit. Let me allow some space for this to happen. But the depression was different.
Yeah.
It hit differently. And I didn't know how to get out of it. I didn't know how to manage it. And then my anxiety started speaking, like literally speaking to me, because now I feel my chest beating. I feel my lungs collapsing. I feel like I can't breathe. I feel like I'm dying inside. Yeah. So I was having legit anxiety attacks from just... And then I was getting overwhelmed with basic living activities, like eating, you know? And so I was having nightmares. I was also like, I remember one night when I had first got back, I heard like a car accident. I jumped out of bed and rolled to the ground, thinking, like looking for my weapon, like what, like, and then I realized I am not over there anymore.
Yeah.
So like that definitely caused a huge reaction to my depression, and now I have been diagnosed with PTSD, but it's complex PTSD because I also have the sexual trauma from my childhood and throughout the military, and now Iraq PTSD. Yeah. So what I'm doing now is just, I'm here. Yeah. I'm definitely here, giving it all I have, learning, making new friends that are like-minded with my mindset, and journaling, doing arts and crafts. Arts and crafts is very therapeutic for me.
Yeah, I love art therapy. It's so fun.
Yes, it really
and
is.
It really takes you out of whatever you're in at that moment.
Right. Yeah. No, it definitely does. And I've been diving into my poetry more.
That's amazing.
And yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Cool. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, like, I know I've never been, in the military, but my grandfather was, and just from my mom, she's telling me, like, he used to walk around the house, like he was a heavy drinker when he came back from war, and he would walk around the house with his gun loaded and like talk like how he would talk to his fellow soldiers over there, and like he would have these flashbacks and like relive them.
That's the thing. Like, I started drinking to get rid of whatever I was feeling, and that created a problem. And then what led me to come here was that I picked up smoking weed. Yeah. That because I needed to feel better. I could no longer feel this low. Yeah. So I was drinking and smoking weed, and I was spiraling. Yeah. Spiraling
I really
down.
think that like. That's such a good point, because I really think that like mental health and addiction really go hand in hand. Because 100%. Like, we have depression, we have an anxiety. Sometimes we had it before the drugs and alcohol, and sometimes we have it as a result. But the drugs and alcohol were that instant gratification to feel better, because we've been through these things that were so hard and so difficult to deal with and so painful, the traumas, and like, we just want to get rid of it right away.
Right.
But in turn, the alcohol and drugs are making it worse.
Right.
And so when we take the time to remove the drugs and alcohol, and we're still here with ourselves, then we're of clarity mind to actually be aware of what our patterns are, our triggers are, our underlying issues. And then once we're aware of those, being clean and sober, then we can work on the healing.
Right.
And that's the biggest part, is the healing from it. Because, you know, everybody in the world goes through something, you know, and we tend to, you know, be ego driven and think that it's all about us, but really everybody's going through something.
Mm-hmm.
And like love and laughter is the best medicine, you know. It's the best medicine. And I really think that medication and therapy, a combination of both, really help as well. But like, we just have to be there for each other, you know. And I like how you said you're making friends with people that have the same interest as you, because we can't do this alone.
No.
We cannot do this alone. So if you're watching this and you struggle with PTSD, or you struggle with anxiety or depression,
or suicide,
or, you know, having suicidal thoughts, just there's help out there, and there's a lot of resources. You can DM me or put it in the comments, whatever you're dealing with, because you're not alone. All right, just stay strong. And thank you so much, Kerizzmah, for sharing. I really appreciate you. Thank you for your service, most importantly.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for watching.